Hey, this is Alex from Natural Mobility. Today we're going to look at breathing in the context of dynamic movements like stretching and exercise.
When it comes to more dynamic movements, there's one more principle that you want to keep in mind, and that's the synchronization of movement and breathing. The way to synchronize your breathing during dynamic movements is to coordinate your exhalation with the most dynamic part of the movement. The key here is that you're not inhaling while you're doing a dynamic movement. During inhalation, all the muscles that are involved in breathing are relaxing. And if you're trying to do a dynamic movement, which usually involves a whole body contraction, if you're trying to inhale at the same time, you're sending a signal to relax your breathing muscles. That's a little bit of neurological confusion, and oftentimes when people get a slip disc, it's because they're inhaling while they're doing some kind of a strength requiring movement. There are a few different approaches to breathing during dynamic movement, such as the Valsalva technique, which involves holding the breath and bracing the core as you're lifting something. And that's safe. Holding the breath during a dynamic movement is safe, but I find exhalation during those dynamic movements are a little bit more efficient. Whether you would like to hold your breath or exhale during your dynamic movement is up to you. The crucial point to keep in mind is that coordinating your inhalation with a dynamic movement sets the stage for a higher risk of injury. Aside from the synchronization of dynamic movement, don't forget about your diaphragmatic breathing. There's no need to get into as much detail as I described earlier, but make sure that you're taking long, deep breaths and they're not reverting to shallow breathing. You will have a lot more mental clarity, a lot more awareness, and ability to make good decisions if you are breathing deeply and getting enough oxygen. The more oxygen you're getting, especially if you're breathing through your nose, the more energy your muscles are getting, the more energy your brain is getting. You're able to really be mindful during your movements. When it comes to less dynamic movements like stretching, really focus on the synchronization of your inhalation and exhalation. You want to synchronize your breathing with the rhythm of your stretch. As you're inhaling, forgiving the stretch and allowing the inflation of your lungs to gently move your body away from the intensity of the stretch. And as you're exhaling, allowing that deflation of the lungs to gently pull you into a deeper stretch. If you have a good idea of the length of one of your breath cycles, how long it takes to breathe in and breathe out and get ready for the next breath, then you can use your breath to time how long you stay in your stretches instead of trying to look at the clock. That covers basic breathing technique in daily life, breathing during dynamic movements, breathing during stretching, and breathing during meditation. Oh, we didn't really talk about breathing during meditation, did we? Well, it's exactly the same thing as breathing during stretching, except you're not stretching. You're either sitting up or on a chair or lying down, but the concept is the same without the complexity of trying to stretch the body.
This is part 3 of a 3-part video series on mindful breathing. If you found this helpful, please check out the preceding videos and let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.